Hey folks, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, welcome to the channel. My name is JoJo. I tend to talk too much, specifically about seasonal anime, and I have no idea what I just watched, but I think I liked it. I think. Anyway, today we're talking about Gleipnir. I hope you guys are as excited as I am, because this is a trip, man. But before we get into it, I do want to let you all know that if you would like to have your name shouted out in next week's Gleipnir video, then be sure to share this video around on the internet, and then tag me at JoJo Talks Too Much over on Twitter, and I will be sure to shout your name out in next week's video. Now then, let's get into it. I was very confused. The first note I just wrote down was the words batshit insane, and I stand by that. This is a odd show. This is very, very interesting. We are quite a far way away from shows like Just Because and Gamers, which was the other stuff that Pine Jam has worked on. Now, I didn't finish Gamers, but I did watch Just Because. And I don't know if maybe in Gamers people turn into freaky monsters at some point, but it did happen in Just Because. So I'm kind of surprised that this is where Pine Jam decided to take their next venture into, was this sort of crazy, strange, dark series. And even from looking at the other members of the staff, I'm kind of confused, because like even Kazuhiro Yoneda, he worked, the last series that I know from them was Kabukibu, which I would not have pegged as like, this director's gonna make a crazy as shit series someday. A little bit interesting. Like, yeah, like for the most part, I just wasn't expecting to see these specific people on this specific show. Well, in fairness, you do have Natsuki Hane as Shuichi in this series, and that really shouldn't surprise you. If you know Hane's work, this is an easy slam dunk for him. The man's been, not only has the man been Tanjiro, but he is also Kaneki, in particular being the one that I was like, of course he's playing this character. What's this? Like, Hane's gonna be playing a character who's roped into a world that he doesn't understand, and becomes a monster slowly over time, and becomes, or rather sinks into becoming a monster more and more slowly over time. You don't say! But yeah, that is the one member of the team that I'm like, yeah, of course Hane's here. Like, that's the one that I'm like, of course Hane's here. And the series, in fairness, despite the fact that I wouldn't have expected it to come from this specific cast and crew, it works. It really works. It's so weird and just, again, so far from Pine Jam's usual wheelhouse that it still works, because the series is just so batshit insane. And it's really, really fun. I'm not gonna lie. And speaking of Hane, I want to specifically talk about his portrayal of Shuichi, because honestly, at the beginning of the show, I was sitting there going like, you know what, man? this is gonna sound funny, but I was like, Shuichi is kind of relatable, at least for me, because I was like, man, I was Shuichi in high school. You know, I was like, yeah, man, I was like a scrawny kid with like crazy long hair and glasses that were too big for my face. And I wasn't sure where I wanted to go in my last year of high school. Like, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I felt like I just wanted things to stay the same. I didn't want to have to make choices like that. And I also, in high school, as some of you know, I did attempt to be normal. I didn't want to, quote unquote, be myself. I just wanted to be normal and fit in, because I didn't want the hassle of trying to go my own way. It's a stupid mindset, and it's a very childish and teenage mindset. And it is admittedly very human, though. And again, I did feel for Shuichi. I was like, I've been that kid. I know where that's coming from. And I'm sitting there watching the show thinking like, yeah, me and Shuichi, you know, we're on the same page. I relate to this guy. I know where he's coming from. I understand his struggle. And then I was like, oh wait, but I didn't turn into a giant freaky dog thing. I don't even know what that is. And I also didn't become a big honking creep. Like, I will give the man fairness. I have to assume that the transformation is what's causing him to be a little bit pervy with that sense of smell, you know? I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna assume it's the heightened sense of smell that's kind of, and plus the fact that he's becoming a beast, you know, like he's becoming an animal. I'm gonna let that be the reason why he's real pervy towards Claire, like just extraordinarily pervy towards Claire. In fairness, though, Claire is a character who is very like taking charge of herself. I wish that these weren't high school characters. Why does it always have to be high school characters? But yeah, Claire is very much a character who is taking on, let's just say, is aware of who she is and what she is, and is using that as a weapon to combat these strange creatures that she seems to be quite knowledgeable about. Very excited to see more from Claire. Claire is another character that I'm like, why are all the lady characters this season so cool? Like every female, every show so far has one like standout female role where I'm like, there's so many best girl candidates. Claire is dope as shit. Yes, she's a relatively sexual character, and I'm sure some people are like, aren't you Ace? Yes, but that doesn't like stop me from saying Claire is friggin' rad. Like Claire is like a crazy, but not crazy in that annoying like yandere way where they're like, ha 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 ha, like you're mine, like just mine, like that bullshit, like you're only mine, nobody else, like none of that crazy shit. She's just calculated, and I really dig that. I think of the cast, Shuichi's the one that I, up until a certain point, related to the most, whereas Claire is the one that I'm like, I want to know more about Claire. She is dope as hell. I want to see more about her. And speaking of Claire, and speaking of the fact that she kind of owns her sexuality, I guess we'll say, it is a bit fan servicey, this show. I will say there is quite a bit of fan service. However, it didn't bother me here as much as it bothered me in shows like, say, Fire Force. Because here, if there is like a fan service scene, it's either meant to be played for laughs, or it's used in a way that doesn't detract from what's going on. Like the fan service is there, but like there's other stuff going on around it. The tension in a scene doesn't stop. We have an ecchi scene, and then the tension continues. Like, no, it's not like Fire Force. I do think it's incorporated better here than in Fire Force. That said, and I've said this before, ain't nothing wrong with ecchi. Like, there's nothing wrong with ecchi. You can have ecchi be in a show and it's totally fine. And I think in Gleipnir, it works. In Fire Force, it didn't. However, now I want to talk a little bit, and I guess we're going to get into a bit of character time, or design time, or color time, whatever we're calling this section of the video. Now, I'm not going to go so much into Claire right now, nor am I really going to go into Shuichi either. I would rather go into specifically Shuichi's monster form, because this like weird monster form that he takes up, that he becomes, he became a monster. I was baffled by this, because this is such a unique design. And I gotta give it both to the OG creator, Sun Takeda, as well as the character designer, Takahiro Kishida, who worked on stuff like Haikyuu, JoJo, specifically Part 5 though, Baccano, and Durarara. Yeah, this feels like a weird stand, you know what I mean? Like, he looks like a stand, or he looks like something out of, like, Baccano or Durarara, and all the characters obviously have that same sort of style, right? Like, the characters look like characters you'd see out of Durarara or Baccano or something like that. Not so much JoJo's, but the monster, like the creature itself, looks like a stand of some sort. Very strange, very interesting design. And at first I figured, like, I'm not going to be able to really find anything specific about this creature, because it feels like it's just weird for the sake of being weird. But when I looked into it, and I did like a wee bit of research here and there on my colors, I came up with some interesting stuff. So we do know for sure that he is some kind of dog. My best guess is he's supposed to be like a Shiba, I guess. I don't know, like a friggin' strange looking Shiba. I don't know what kind of Shiba Inus the creators have been looking at lately, but I don't know. That's my best guess. But the dog thing specifically I find interesting, right? Because, like, why a dog? Now, we know towards the end of the episode that another character has some sort of, like, animalistic edge, right? Like, they don't go full force animal, but they still sort of, like, they have, like, the crazy claws, and, like, their legs and arms become, like, animalish. So maybe all of them turn into dogs? I don't know. But for Shuichi, I think the significance is the fact that, like, a dog, right, is essentially subservient to a master. A dog has an owner. And I feel like Shuichi's the kind of dude who wouldn't want to lead, he'd rather be led. So I can't help but feel like the dog element is to show that Shuichi is basically gonna be Claire's like pet, essentially. Like he is more willing to put his fate and life in somebody else's hands because he is indecisive. And I feel like even like the beige and taupe colors, because he's mostly beige, but he also has this sort of taupe arm, and both of his arms are taupe, and and sort of like a darker shade of taupe on like the top corner of his head. And the colors themselves also tell us a little bit about what's up with Shuichi's monster form as well, since beige is typically a sort of like plain, boring, but comfortable color, while taupe is a sort of content, but yet indecisive and doubtful color. I think that's really interesting, because taupe as a color is sort of indecisive because it can't seem to decide whether it wants to be brown or gray, whereas beige is beige. Like every basic, like if somebody told you to pick the most basic color on the planet, everybody would say beige. It is used as like the home decor everywhere. Every like couch, every wall, everything's beige. So beige as like beige and taupe as his color scheme is very interesting. And at first I was like, but he himself, like the design itself is not plain or boring, nor is it very content. But I think this is meant to be how Shuichi sees himself. That's at least the vibe that I'm getting. Or maybe this is what Shuichi wants himself to be, like sort of plain and boring, because we know that he's just trying to fit in and be normal, so he's beige, right? But he's also taupe in the sense that he is trying to be, he's content with being normal, but he's also sort of indecisive. Like he can't, we see this early when he tries to save Claire from the building, right? Like he can't decide whether or not he wants to save her or not. He's indecisive up until the very moment of action. And he's also very doubtful. He doesn't believe in himself. He doesn't trust himself. He'd rather be led than lead. So that's kind of where I'm coming at the monster form from. But that's just a theory, a color theory. But no, that's just where I'm coming at it from. I could be way off base. What do you guys think's up with the monster form? What do you guys think's up with the colors? Am I way off? Are you guys thinking the same? Let me know. But with that said, everybody, I'm going to wrap up my thoughts here. This show is gonna be interesting. I'm excited to cover it. I like a killing game every so often, and this show is really shaping up to be like some sort of killing game-ish type thing. I don't know, maybe it's not, but either way, these characters are weird and interesting enough that I'm gonna stick around regardless. And that's gonna do it for today's video, everybody, so I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, then by all means hitting that like button and leaving a comment down below is a great way to help out this channel as it pleases the almighty YouTube algorithm, so if you choose to do so, kudos to you. And if you're feeling extra supportive today, you can go ahead and check out all the links in the description. One goes to my Twitter, another one is to our Discord server, another one to our merch store if you feel like grabbing yourself a mug, and of course, our Patreon page. And speaking of the Patreon page, I do want to give a big thank you to those of you in the T Squadron who support this channel month to month. Let's go ahead and do the Earl Grey shoutouts. Izevi, Andrew W, Branson C, Bria Rose, Calvin A, Crowbar of Irony, Daniel G, Digger the Fox, Dominic G, Emily, Ionos, Urza, Ginkotaku, Godzilla Fan, No For Nothing, Maria T, Marshall B, Mater, Mirth Mouser, Cell, Shadow Creative, Stephen G, Sakochi, The Suavest Orange, Tristan G, and Veridan. Thanks so much for your continued support over on Patreon, everybody, and if you too would like to join the T Squadron, then be sure to check out the first link in the description to check out our Patreon page. That is a huge way to support the channel. And again, be sure to check out the other stuff in the Discord as well. Go join our Discord. It is now public. You can all join. Everybody can hop in the Discord. Follow me on Twitter if you want me to ramble at you even more. And until next time, you stay classy, AnyTube, and wash your dang hands.